Artan, what's happening, mate? Long time.
Yes, brother. I'm all good, thank you, man. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. Yeah, not bad. I was just speaking to Scott before about the last time we actually saw each other, because I remember you were going to Thailand. I'm sure it was only for a short period of time, but you've been there how long now?
So, yeah, I went after my headline show literally a year ago tomorrow, and I was only supposed to go for like 2-3 months, but honestly, this place, like, just low pressure environment, like low outgoings, everything is so good for trading. Like, and for me at the time, I was like just finding profitability, and I was still having bad months and good months. That's when I started the whole TheRapperTrader series, where I documented my journey of like becoming profitable. And yeah, like just being out here it's just inspiring. Like everything is suited, in my opinion anyway, to trading. Whether that's the time, like I have my whole day up until like 2 p.m. to start London sessions, so I can go gym, go in the pool, go get food, relaxed. I don't have to rush. So, and I mainly trade London as well. So yeah, for me it's just incredible out here.
Yeah, so it is actually a bit of a game changer, because I've just come back from India a couple of weeks ago, and being 6 hours ahead, you get all your stuff done in the day and then you're fresh and ready for trading. But are you jumping in trades early, or are you sticking to your plan?
No, like I only trade from like really between like 6 and 8 a.m. UK time. So I kind of wait for, like, if I'm looking for buys, I'll wait for price to open the 4-hour candle at 6 a.m. And go lower. So I'm kind of like just waiting. So for me, honestly, I just think it's perfect. Like, it's perfect. I just wait. I stream every day as well, all my trades live. So I kind of have to be accountable, because people will see if I'm not. But yeah, it just works. It just works.
Go on, you would ask a question.
Yeah, no, so I've been watching your series, and like your videos are beautifully shot. Obviously, you are a rapper, you're still a rapper, but you're trying to get profitable at the moment. How are you getting profitable? How are you learning to trade? What's behind your trading plan, and like where have you been learning that?
Yeah. Well, so I was trading for about 3 years until I got profitable, which was about 7-8 months ago now. I started off kind of doing like the whole SMC route. SMC, I was doing different versions of SMC basically, but there was no real mechanical structure to it. So I started learning CRT, which is basically like daily and weekly candles. I'm essentially looking for liquidations and reversals, but I use a candle as a range. So whether that's the daily range or a weekly range, that's what I play. So for me, I use that as a foundation to learn off, and then I've kind of like added my own bits and bobs into there. And honestly, like it was kind of, I guess it was like, I thought it was going to take me another, 2-3 years to actually become profitable. But then over that kind of 7-month period, within 2 months of me actually just applying this strategy with my experience that I'd already had of like 3 years, that's just when things just started doing really well. So that for me, it was more the strategy, but I think the experience that I had beforehand of just kind of like general market structure and liquidity and imbalances, just seeing what respects and what doesn't, that's what's really helped me. So yeah, it was like a 3-year stint.
Sorry, I think by what you're saying as well, what you started on with how you're trading, it basically comes down to psychology as well, of not jumping in the market before you should. And I think what you're doing as well by live streaming, I think for a lot of traders, I was just saying before to Jacky, one of the reasons I was not good at trading is because I'd just jump into too many trades. But when you're live streaming, you've got that accountability where you know not to ruin your account because loads of people are watching.
I never even thought about that. You've got this added like pressure of if I jump in trades, everyone's going to see this, and I've never actually thought about that angle.
Yeah, but there's positives and negatives to it as well, though. That's the only thing, because the negative to it is you know, we're all human and you can be wrong. And the problem that you have is you might be speaking for an hour about your bias for the day, and then you realize that actually it's wrong because you might be looking too closely on the daily. So I might have preached for like an hour about how I'm buying today, I'm buying, and then price is extremely volatile going upwards and takes out the previous daily high, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me just look on the weekly again, and I'm like, oh, it's bearish, and then you have to you kind of make a fool of yourself. So like there's that side of things, but also not only that, but you also become scared to take trades because you're like, I'd rather an A++ setup, but really there's no trade is like, I know that people qualify them because I do as well, like as A+ or B or whatever, but for me, you can put too much pressure on only taking the A+ setups. Like there might be a couple of confluences that are off and you're like, I shouldn't take this because I don't want to say to people that I take trades without this confluence, especially when I'm teaching it and I'm talking about it with it all day. So I think it's just learning to juggle all of it at the same time. But if I'm honest with you, I feel that no matter what, there's like just added pressure in every scenario. Like you're just like, if you want to become a good trader, you have to get more capital. And when I had, for example, like I had a 50k funded, then I had 100k, then I had 250k, and I knew that like when I got to that 250k, when I was live streaming on 50k, like it's going to be the same pressure live streaming on 50k than it is like if I was just trading 250k alone. So it's like if you want to trade and you want to become a good trader and make good money, you have to accept that there's going to be risk, and risk might be your ego, it might be your reputation, it might be your money, whatever it may be. You have to accept that risk. So for me, it's like I decided to start live streaming early on in the Discord. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get good at this because I have no choice but to, because I know that whether it was at the start of my journey when I wasn't profitable, or it was 3 years down the line when I am profitable, I know that I'm going to end up streaming anyway. I enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
So
do you know what? There's a crossover there as well, mate, because of what you've done before, you probably had the same thought process about going and performing live, right? You're a rapper, and I've seen some of the shows you've done, mate, like these huge festival stages with thousands of people. And I know, I mean, I've never played to nowhere near as many people as you did when I was DJing, but those big shows can be terrifying, and you also have doubt. Then you're like, I'm going to perform. You have to just throw yourself into it, and that's what you've done with your live trade. And you learn. I think you're learning a lot about yourself as a trader just by doing those streams massively. You must have learned loads.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think for me, it's just like my whole brand in terms of like music wise, especially is I like being transparent. I'm transparent with my emotions. I'm transparent with my financial place. I'm transparent with my relationships, my family, domestics, like my past, like everything I put into music. And I feel that and people could relate to that, you know? So,
yeah,
and
completely.
I felt that got me to where I got to. And I felt that with trading, I don't want to be like, I always felt disconnected from profitable traders that I'd see content with online, because I'd always feel that I don't know how you got profitable. Like, it's all good you telling me how you do it now, but how are you understanding that? So my whole goal was to start up this series, and before I was profitable, and I was like, you know what, I think it speaks volumes when you share the come up, basically, because if you share the come up, it means that you back yourself enough that you know you're going to get to your goal, because you're not going to be embarrassed, because this is all part of a story. It's like you can't create a movie without a start, middle, and an end. So in my life movie is that, all right, cool, my start is me being unprofitable, but I back myself enough to get profitable. So, you know, why not? I'm just going to record it. You know what I mean? So
I think that's the way that content's going now as well, is like with short form content, TikToks, people want to see real life emotions, not just you're driving around in a Lambo and you're going, oh, come in. And I think people can sort of smell like the lies from people now, where they try to get them to sign up to being a broker or signals or whatever it is. Yeah. So people want to see that real life trading experience, because we've all been there, right? It's you have your ups, but you have an awful lot of lows as well in that like moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you started doing the content, mate, I remember seeing the first video this is how something around. I'm going to go from being, I think you just blew a 100K account, if I remember rightly, and you were talking openly about. I remember vividly how you were in this hotel room somewhere, and you're like, I've just blown a 100K account, but I'm going to document my journey of going from this point to being a profitable trader. And I think that's admirable, mate, because you are showing that real, true journey. You're not just showing, like, even if it's not a Lambo, you're not just showing the point where you've got 3 or 4 stacked 500K accounts you built up, because yes, that's the end goal, but there's so much that's got to happen to get to that point. Like, even to take this back a little bit, mate, we've known each other for over 10 years now, I would say.
Yeah, over 10 years.
10 years, which is crazy. So when we first met, let's give it a bit of a backstory to this conversation as well, which is crazy when you think about the full circle thing. But we met at a call center job in London. We were selling. Well, we started doing
energy,
calling,
telecoms, insurance.
Mate, listen, I'm gonna just give you your due now, mate. We all started this job together. It was like cold calling. So we got this really, you'll know because you worked in call centers, got all this really rubbish data, and we had to call out and get people transferred over to business energy, business telecoms, or business insurance.
Yeah.
We had to get the lead, send it over to the department, and that's a handoff. Reese couldn't have been any further ahead of anyone. Like, he was coming in and getting like 20. Every time you like look down and look up, he was going and put another marker on the board, and some people are struggling to get one a day. So Reese was like straight off that desk and straight onto the sales side of things. And we worked there for, I think I was there for 9 months. I can't remember, something like that. But anyway, we did that. Then I was trying to be a DJ, but I had no money. I was trying to struggle through. I got my first release there, went and did the music thing, became like a touring artist. At the same time, I remember having a conversation with you. We came back from lunch and you were saying, I know I'm doing this, I'm going through it because I've got to do it, but I really want to do music full time because I just got my EP released to like a big label, and you're going, I'm going to do it. I'm like, I believe in you. And then we've both gone and done this, and 10 years later, we come back around. I started prop trading, you were trading, and now you're doing this whole thing from rapper to trader, and now I'm sat here, the founder of a prop firm. It's the maddest story ever, but to see you...
Insane.
To see you doing this now, going to Thailand, transitioning from what was an incredible career you had in the music industry. And we sat down in Shoreditch before you went to Thailand and talked about, we had this conversation about, you're not sure what you want to do, you might stay, you might not, you might go and do the trading full time. You've gone and just done it. You've took a leap, because I have this conversation with some of my friends and family as well. They say, why did you take that jump? You were doing really well in music and you've done X, Y, and Z and all these accolades. Why are you just dropping it all and going and doing something else? And you're doing it because this is what you want to do, not what anyone else wants you to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's mint, mate. And I love watching your journey. It's class.
Thank you, bro. Likewise. And I feel that like, I can only speak for myself personally, but I think that with music, and I know you know this just as well as I, but the music industry promotes impulsivity. It promotes creativity in a sense of, like, the more outlandish you are, the more crazy you are, the more just like out of the box you are and unpredictable you are. That's what is promoted, because that's where the shock factor is. That's what the entertainment factor is. Whereas in trading, it made me really self-reflect and work on myself. I've got so many bad habits that I've had no choice but to work on in trading, and it reflects in the charts every single time. So for me, it was like,
completely.
Look, I've always been interested in trading. I also, one of my main things was labels did not want to sign me. Like, no matter what, like I'm known by, honestly, like every label in the country, like every label in the country. I'm talking, all the big artists know me, everything, but nobody would give me a chance. Like, nobody would lend me some money from a distro deal or a label deal or whatever to actually put out a project. So I was working my arse off 9 to 5 doing all these sales jobs, and I was genuinely, at one point I was like completely and utterly suicidal. Like, I cannot stress to you how low I was in life. Like, one of my best friends, you knew him, Mavro, who came to the
work. Man, I know Mavro, man. I had a lot of time for him. He was a lovely guy, really nice
That's
guy.
What I mean, and he passed away, and I kind of looked at things and I was like, look, like, I feel like I'm talented, I feel I'm worth this, I feel like I'm smart, I work hard, but no one wants to give me the time of day in the music industry. So I said to myself, do you know what? I'm going to learn trading. I'm going to get good and I'm going to fund my own campaigns, and I'm not going to do music anymore so that I can make more money. I'm going to make my money in trading, live my life, and do music for the sole purpose of why I started it, which is to express myself. And it's like a 360 moment where I can now do music because I enjoy it, and if I earn money I can put it back into it, but I'm not caring so much about the pressure of it. And I think that's where you hear about artists that quote unquote sell their souls, or that it breaks them down, and the pressure and all this, because the industry does eat you up. The whole journey, whether it's going out too much, for example with you, it's taxing on your mental and your physical, right? And that's something that
well, listen, I relate so much to that, because I've actually got 2 gigs this year. I've got 2 charity gigs.
Nice.
One, well, actually, it isn't. One is a running. It's called Friday Night Lights, and they do. You might have heard them. They do like. They meet up on a Friday night, and there's people. They go out with like speakers on the back. They have glow sticks, and they'll just run around listening to like dance music, right? Because they want to listen to music, but they don't want to be exposed to alcohol, drugs, late night hangovers, right? It's a fantastic idea. So I'm playing their festival, which is essentially you do a run. At the end of the run, there's a stage with DJs, so that's really cool.
Sick.
And then I'm also doing a charity festival, which is near where I live, and I'm doing it. I don't want big fees and stuff. This is not what I'm doing it for. I want to do it because I love doing it. And I think, mate, when the time, I mean, I'm so busy with obviously Nostro, and I've got other projects on the go, but I do feel that when it comes full circle where I can relax a little bit financially and everything's calmed down, I might come back to the music, because right now I lost a lot of love for it because of all the reasons you've just said there. All the knockbacks, all the negativity, the attachments to the negative side of the business, the music business. But yeah, man, listen, I resonate with all of that. But yeah, bringing it back to you, what you've just said there, it's great, and I think you're going to do it. You're going to get to that point. I don't think it's going to be that far in the future where you're going to be sat there in a studio, which you paid for, with all your money you've made from trading, and you're going to be doing it for the love of music and not for trying to pay your rent, or because some labels, you're trying to work up to some label sign you. It's a lot of rubbish, man. You're going to be doing it for you, which is great.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, the annoying thing is with music is that, like, obviously with trading I'm profitable, but the problem is with music, if I want to release a mixtape campaign, honestly, like, and I'm not even talking a just that's costing me like 25k. So for me, it's kind of like, do I want to put a deposit down on a flat, or do I want to, just put it into a mixtape that could potentially generate no money back? So I'm hopefully by the end of this year, I'm at a point where I can actually throw that money, for example, at that and not care. But for now, I'm earning all right money trading. I'm living out in Thailand. I'm living what my younger self would have dreamed of living. It's just now it's time to scale up significantly. So
you're making me want to move away.
Yeah, you're making Scott want to get back on the charts. Hang his CEO cap up and then move to Thailand with you. Have you got a spare room? Got a spare room at your gap?
Do it. I've got a very nice sofa, so yeah, do it.
Well, go on.
Yeah, and just for any of our listeners, I think come over and check some of your channels out. Do you want to just give them a lowdown where they can find you? We'll put it in the captions or whatever below this, but just where they can see you.
So my main page, which is my artist page, is Artan LDN, Artan LDN. And my trading channel is TheRapperTrader. So you can go on YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram and TikTok, and it's just TheRapperTrader. So I upload videos weekly, and I also stream all of my trades live for free in my Discord. So if you ever want to, check out the strategy or anything, or just see how, the mindset behind a trader, then yeah, trade alongside me in the Discord. It's free. So yeah.
Well, I've actually got one question before we wrap up. For our community and our listeners, obviously we've just started this project recently, but for people who are listening and do watch this content, have you got one bit of advice for people who are doing a challenge and are struggling? What's that one piece of advice you'd give them if you had that chance?
One thing that I would say if you are struggling with a challenge is you have to have belief in your system. Like, just because you are down on the week or down on the month or down on the day doesn't mean that you are any of a worse trader than you are. You have to collect data and not let trades day to day affect you. Like, I'm a victim of this as well, and it's something that traders always have to go through and develop. But just remember that, like, you are trading a system, you're trading an edge, and if you know what that edge is and you stick to it, then you should have confidence in your setup. And if that edge stops working, or let's say, for example, you have 3-4 months of just it not working, then you can go over the data and have a look at it. But the strategy and what your edge is the most important thing. Like, your PNL is not the end of the world. So yeah, that's what I'd say to people, is just believe in your system. Like, and you should already have belief in your system if you are trading in a challenge, you know. So yeah.
All right. Wicked. Mate, we're going to wrap it up there. I just want to say thanks for taking the time, mate. It's great to speak to you properly. You know, I've got a lot of time and I've got a lot of love for you, Artan. We've known each other over a decade now, and it's great to see you doing what you want to do and not doing stuff for any other reason. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, mate, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you very much, bro. Yeah, likewise, man. Take care, guys.
Take it easy, man. Nice one.
Nice one. Love, love, love.